I heard about a job within my company that was coming up because our regional manager had just been promoted to general manager. So his position was opening up. So I didn't want to stay where I was anymore, and I wanted that job. So I talked to Rita to see how I could improve myself even farther than taking the Dale Carnegie course. And I ended up taking the leadership training for managers. It was a fantastic course. It was a 3-day whirlwind of it was jam-packed of so much knowledge. I gained so much confidence from taking this course. I learned so many new skills. I learned how to communicate better with staff. What else? I learned how to communicate with the owners of the company, which was something that was very, very, very important. It was very huge because that's something that a lot of us do have trouble with, especially when there are, in my company, there's 3 owners, and each of them are just as high above the other one as the other one is, if that makes any sense at all. So taking
managing up.
Yes, so taking this course really, really, really improved. And the whole process took me about a year from start to finish. And once the job became noted, it was posted on the inside of the company as well as the outside. There were 3 of us on the inside that were applying for it, and they narrowed it down to 4 people on the outside. That process took about another month after all the interviewing that was going on. And one morning I got up and my phone went off, and it was my general manager. And his text message to me was, "Have you found a replacement yet?" And that's my story. That's my promotion.
Fantastic. Stay there. There were a couple of questions about that. So 3 people internally and 4 externally were vying for the same position
Yes.
that you got. So just tell us what you moved from to what you moved to.
I started with the company as a part-time employee. And after 3 months, I was promoted to manager. And from manager, I was at that job for 2 years, and I went from manager of running a site myself to running all of Ontario.
Wow, congratulations. Cheryl, if you take it right down to basics, you know, the first 9 principles that we're discussing tonight, and number 10, the only way to get the best of an argument is to avoid it. Maybe you could share with the room some situations or just as a sort of a general way of being where those 9 principles actually became part of how you got promoted.
Don't criticize, condemn, or complain is the number 1 for me. Learning to listen is the biggest thing.
Good enough.
Good enough.
Do any of you have a question for Cheryl? I'd be curious to know what you're curious to know.
No?
Anybody? Karen, you're full of questions.
Yeah.
Oh, here, over here. Okay, sorry. Go ahead.
What was your biggest challenge and how were you able to overcome it?
My biggest challenge? Doing what I'm doing right now, standing out in front of all of you. When I first started Dale Carnegie, when I had to give my first speech, I actually felt like I needed bumper pads to stand up in front of everybody. I was wobbly, I was ready to pass out.
Yeah.
That was the biggest challenge.
I would have never known that. You didn't come across that way at all.
Really? Oh yeah.
Didn't come
I
across
still
that
get shaky knees. It's still, it's a thing in process to just keep going at it, that's all.
way. Here, Colin has a question?
Yes,
Do you have a problem managing people that were previously your contemporary and now suddenly you're the manager?
That was one of the concerns that the company did have, because I did build a lot of friendships within the company. But it hasn't been a problem at all, right now at all. Yeah.
That's
It's
good
been,
to hear.
yeah, it's been a good thing. That was a big, big, big concern of theirs during the interview process, because I did have to go through an interview for this job. And that was one of the concerns that they did have. How was that going to interfere with my job? But it hasn't.
Somebody else had a question over here? Yeah. Diane?
Did you have any plan to promote yourself in your previous job?
Within this same company?
Yeah.
I knew I didn't want to stay where I was, behind the counter.
Okay.
I knew that I did want to promote myself within the company. I wanted to keep going.
So how many facilities are you in charge of now?
10,
Wow, and that's
Yeah.
from Kitchener?
yeah, from
Toronto.
Kitchener, Toronto, Collingwood, Guelph, St. Catharines, and all in between. And
Wow.
we're still growing.
That's amazing. Well, we're so thrilled that you found time to be here with us tonight. As people were collecting up tonight, I said, Cheryl's coming, but I hope she's not like in the snow in St. Catharines or anything
It wasn't
like
too
that.
bad coming back.
Fantastic. Does anybody have go ahead, Karen.
So you went through the courses, the Dale Carnegie course.
Yes, I did.
So what, can you name the best thing or 3 best things that you've learned and what's your
Oh, that's a
advice
good
to us?
question.
The 3 best things that I've learned is 1, listen. Stress isn't worth it. And communication is really important. I have to say that's the biggest thing. Learning to communicate properly. Mhm.
Thank you.
I have one follow-on question as well. So someone asked you, did you have plans to promote yourself from within your old position? And I guess the follow-on question to that would be, did you get a new job and then take on new responsibilities, or did you take on new responsibilities and then you were appointed to the job? Which comes first?
That's a hard question.
Did they happen kind of simultaneously?
It did. It really did. It kind of all happened at once.
So you were growing in the job,
I was
and then
growing-
the job opened up.
Exactly. Yeah.
So we've been talking about this for a while.
We have been.
right?
It was actually last year at our conference
Okay.
for Apple is when it started.
Yeah.
And it'll be a year ago next week.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Well, that's a pretty good step forward in a year to go
Yeah.
from managing 1 facility to 10 facilities all across Ontario. Like, that's giant, eh? That's huge. And Michael's shoes are big shoes to
They
fill.
are very big shoes to fill.
He did a great job. People
Yeah.
loved him. He made
Yeah.
no enemies that
No.
I could ever find one of. Like,
No.
he was a leader. Like, he's a leader.
He's a leader and a mentor.
Yeah. Wow. Fantastic.
Yeah,
You're the
he is.
living proof of that then, right?
Yeah.
Anybody
I'm very
have a
excited.
final question for Cheryl? Go ahead.
Yeah, I do have a question. Going back to the beginning, what prompted you to look for Dale Carnegie course, or did you know Dale Carnegie, or you were just
You know,
looking for
I
something?
didn't have a clue
Michael's
about
a
Dale
rat.
Carnegie at all. When I first started part-time and then I was promoted to manager,
Yes.
it was actually presented to me to take the course.
Yes.
And that's how I got into Dale Carnegie. And actually, when I first took it, it was like, okay, it's something that the company wants me to do. I have to do it. It was the best thing that ever happened to me in my life. It really and truly was. Yeah, so much that I still come back and I
She's my
assist
assistant.
Rita.
Cheryl is my assistant. She
Yeah.
comes back every week, even though she's graduated, and
Yeah.
comes back to help me on a weekly basis. So we've never been apart for like a year now. Eh?
No, exactly, yeah.
Fantastic.
It helps you with home, it helps you business, personal. Yeah.
Awesome. Well, let's thank Cheryl. Fantastic. Thank you. Thank you. Isn't she just got a glow about her? Like one of the most memorable Dale Carnegie talks I've ever